welcome to Maths Live. I've already got some shout outs. Hi Katie, hi Elliot, hi Sam, hi Hallie Beth. I'll go and have a look in a minute. Here's your starter question for today. So what is 9,847 rounded to the nearest 10, 100 and 1,000? And I'm going to say right now, if you hear some squealing in the background, that is my little girl who's decided not to start her nap yet, so don't worry about that. Have a go at this. I'll do some more shout outs. I'll be back in a minute. Hello, Harry. Hi, Heidi. Hi, Honek. Hi, James in Huddersfield. Hi, Josh. Hi, Lucia. Oh, got some answers coming in already. That's great. What is my little girl called? My little girl is called Martha. And she's definitely squealing in the background. Hi, Lily. Hi, Adriana. Hi, Lily Rose. I'll give you 20 more seconds on that. Katie, just be careful with B. Just check your answer for B. Hi, Hayden. Hello, Harry. Brilliant. Lots of shout outs already. Right, I'll start taking this down. Yeah, my little girl's called Martha. She is nearly 17 months old, and normally this would be her nap time, and that's why I can do these lessons. But today, she's been in a silly mood today. She's been in a funny mood today. Like funny, ha ha ha, not annoying. So she clearly doesn't want to stop. So 9,847 rounded to the nearest 10. So if we get our number here, 9847. So if we're rounding it to the nearest 10, we need to focus on the 10 column here, which is 4 tens, and we look at the digit to the right of it, which is a 7. Remember, if a number is 1, 2, 3, 4 at the end, you round down or you stick, and if it's 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9, you round up to the next one. Because this is a 7, we round it up, so our answer is 9,850 for the first one. For part B, we're asked to round to the nearest 100. So we look at our hundreds digit here, which is 800, and we look at the digit to the right, which is a 4. Now 4 means round down or stick. So it's 9,000. Oh, the doorbell's going now. It's crazy today. 9,800, and because it's a 4, we stick. So it's 9,800. And then for the last one, we are rounding to the nearest 1,000. So we look at our thousands digit. We go to the next one along, which is the 8. And 8 tells us to round up. So you're thinking, well, 9... I can only have one digit. Just go up. What's 1 more than 9? It's 10. So it would be 10,000 on that one. Okay? Because remember, you can have 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, 11,000, 12,000. That was a tricky one, that last one, but I did it on purpose. I have brought my whiteboard. Aha! I have brought it today. So today we're going to be rounding again, but we're going to be rounding decimals today. And as I said at the end of yesterday's lesson, don't be scared. It's just a very, very similar technique. Okay, we'll go through the 3 questions in a minute. What I am going to get is my place value digits. I know I decided we didn't need them yesterday, but it's very, very helpful today. So I've got hundreds, tens, and ones. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to squeeze these in. Hundreds, tens and ones. If you want to put them on your sheet, then that's absolutely fine. Hundreds, tens and ones, and then I want my decimal point. And then, because we're going into decimals, what's come up? I need I'm going to go into thousands. That's as big as I'm going to go today. Hundredths. Oh, and tenths. It doesn't quite fit. There we go. We put a dot there. Perfect. Okay, so exactly the same technique. If the digit that we're looking at on the right is 1, 2, 3 or 4, we round down or we stick, and if it's 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9, we round up. So let's start with 1. 3.6. So 3 ones, decimal, and 6. If it's 0.6, it's 6 tenths. Remember, when you're talking about decimals, it's good to talk like a snake, so you're understanding the difference between tenths and tens. So 3.6, and the question I'm asked is, what is it to the nearest whole number? Nearest whole number. So if it's a whole number, it's got no decimals. So here's my whole number here, 3 ones, and the next digit to the right of it is the 6. 6 means we round up, so this one will become 1 more. What's 1 more than 3? It is 4. So 3.6 rounded to the nearest whole number is 4. So all you're doing, all there is there's a decimal point in the way. That's the only difference. Yeah? Next one, got 84. 84.15. So 84 1/10 5/100ths. And I would like to round it to the nearest, and there's 2 ways of saying this. I round it to the nearest. You can either say, tenth. So you can round it to the nearest tenth, or you could say 1 decimal place. There's 2 ways you can be asked that. So you might say round it to the nearest tenth, which means you'll get 1 digit after the decimal point, or 1 decimal place, which is exactly the same thing. I want to show you those 2 ways. I'll keep going with that through the lesson. So round it to the nearest tenth. Here's our tenth here. There's 1/10, and it's the digit to the right that tells us what to do. 5 tells us to round up, so this digit becomes, remember the 84 stays the same, point is this digit that we're changing, so it's 84.2. I'll show you one more, and then we'll have a look at the 3 challenge questions. It is trickier than yesterday, but just remembering that only thing that's different is the decimal point and the fact that we're using tenths, hundredths, thousandths. The technique is exactly the same. Now this one, I've got 2.864, and I'm going to round it. So round to the nearest, and I want to write out the question. I could just say I'm going to round it to the nearest hundredth, but if I write it on the board, it keeps it in your head for you. Okay, so round it to the nearest, and you could say hundredth, or it might be 2 decimal places. It means exactly the same thing. Because as you can see, the hundredths column is the 2nd decimal place. So if you're rounding it to the 2 decimal places, that is it. 1 decimal place, 2 decimal place, and it's rounded to the nearest hundredth. Okay? So we're looking at the hundredths column here, and it's the one to the right, it's the thousands that are telling us what to do. It's a 4, so we round down or we stick. So the answer is 2 4.86. We only need a tenths and a hundredths column, we don't need a thousandths. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I'm going to put the 3 questions up now. If you've had a go, fantastic. Check your answers, make sure they're okay. Because you might have spotted something that I've done there and gone, oh, actually, I'm going to change my answer. So question 1 is, what is 4.8 to the nearest whole number? What is 4.8 to the nearest whole number? Number 2 was, what is 2.17 to the nearest tenth? What is it to the nearest tenth? And question 3 was 13.57, and I wanted that to the nearest tenth and to the nearest whole number. So 2 different answers there. Okay, I'll let you have a go and I'll have a look at the shout outs. Wow, there's so many, I can't keep up. Every time I come back after the first challenge, the comments have just gone amazing. Hi Ellie and Barwell. Hi Zaina. Okay. Hi Kieran. Well done. Fantastic. Brilliant, got some answers coming in. Brilliant, well done, Simon. Hi Dylan. Well done, I love the answers that are coming in. Amazing. Well done, Zaina. Well, hi Jensen. Fantastic. Well done, Katie. Well done, Kieran. Super. Okay, I'm going to give you 30 more seconds. Brilliant. Right, I'm going to come back in a few seconds. It's just so many answers coming through. It's amazing. Okay, right, let's have a look. So 4.8 to the nearest whole number. So 4 is the whole number, and the next one to the right tells us what to do. 8 tells us to round up, so it's saying, hey, I'm going to give you one more here. So 4.8 to the nearest whole number is 5. 4.8 is closest to 5 than 4. 2.17 to the nearest tenth. So we've got our whole number, our tenth and our hundredth. So it's the tenth that we're focusing on, and the hundredth next to it on the right tells us what to do. 7, if the digit is 7, it tells us to round up. So the 1 becomes 2, so it's 2.2. 2.2 to the nearest tenth. 13.57, first of all it asks us to the nearest tenth. So here's our 10th digit. We've got a 7 again, so 7 tells us to round up. So to the nearest tenth, it will be 13.6, because the 7 has given the 5 one more, so it goes up. And to the nearest whole number, okay, so there's the 3 here. Well, this is the whole number, the 13, but you can have the 3. It's the decimal, it's the first tenth that tells us what to do. 5 tells us to round up, so 13 becomes 14. Okay, you could ignore the 1 if you want. It could just be that 5 rounds up, tells the 3 to round up to 4, but don't forget your tens. Okay, hope that was all right. Right, challenge time for you guys. Well done if you got those right. Well done if you just gave them a go. That's absolutely fine. Right, how many challenges have we got today? We've got 6 challenges today. So I'll put 3 up at a time. So question 1 is, what is 2.1 to the nearest whole number? 2.1 to the nearest whole number. That's some of you are racing on now. What is 4.21 to the nearest tenth? And number 3, what is 6.55 to the nearest whole number? Start nice and gently, and then I'll build it up. Okay, have a go. Well done, Kieran. Oh, well done. Don't worry, Lily, I know it's a bit trickier than yesterday. Don't worry, I know some of you are finding it a bit tricky. Like I say, it is trickier, I'm going to come back. It is trickier than yesterday, just because it looks more difficult, okay? As long, if you move the decimal, if you took away the decimal point, you'll be able to do it the same as yesterday. I will go through this a bit slower, and I'll try and explain it a bit better, but as long as you focus on the place value that I've given you by underlining it, and then getting the right one to tell you what to do, you'll be fine. Okay, just give it your best go, you might surprise yourself. Oh, got some answers coming in. You know what though, I love that you're telling me. I love that you're telling me you're finding it tricky. Okay? Okay. I love that. I love that you're saying, oh, I don't get it, Steph, and what do you do with this one? Because if you always got it, if you all got every single question every single time and there was no challenge involved, then I'm not teaching you anything, okay? Even if there's a little bit of challenge, I'm teaching you something. If you're not sure, you don't understand it, there's lots to learn, okay? So I'm never going to be like, oh, well, if you don't get it, then no, of course not. Like I say, some of you are in year 3 and year 4, so this is perfect learning, okay? So 2.1, we want it to the nearest whole number. So if it's a whole number, it's going to have no decimals in it at all. A whole number can be 3, 4, 17, 21, 100, 1,000. It has to have no decimal points in. So here is our whole number, 2. Okay? The digit to the right of it tells us what to do. 1, if it's 1, it tells us to stick. So 2.1 to the nearest whole number is 2. Okay? Just showing you another example, because I know I think Katie, you are asking, well, what if there's more than one whole number? If it was 315.3 and we were rounding it to the nearest whole number, you could look at the whole thing. So here's our whole number, 315. The 3 is the decimal, tells us what to do. 3 tells us to stick. So we're just still at 315. Okay, so I hope that's a little bit more helpful. Now, this one, 4.21 is the nearest tenth. So here's our 10th column. And the one to the right is telling us what to do. 1 tells us to round down or stick. So to the nearest tenth, it's 4.2. We don't want any more digits afterwards because it's only to the nearest tenth. And you don't need to change your 4, so 4.2. Okay? This one, again, it's the nearest whole number. So here's our whole number. And it's the digit to the right that tells us what to do. Now in this case, there's another digit, but that's not involved. It's there, but it's not getting involved at all because it's the 10th that's the most important. The 10th is the one that's bossing around the whole number. Because it's a 5, it's telling that whole number to round up, so it becomes 7. So remember, a whole number is going to be 6, 7, 21, 108, 356. So 6.55 to the nearest whole number is 7. It doesn't matter if there's an extra digit afterwards. It could be 6.55328, but it's still the 10th that's telling us what to do, if that makes sense. Okay, let's try the next 3. So if you're in year 5 and year 6, these ones should be a good challenge for you. Again, if you're in year 3 and year 4, just give it the best go that you can do. So question 4 is 18.286, and I'd like that to the nearest tenth. Question 5 is 0.882, and I'd like that to the nearest hundredth. And question 6 is 3. This is a mean one now, okay? Mean one. 3.00001, and I'd like that to the nearest hundredth. Okay, give it a go. Yep, rounding decimal numbers is just the same method as rounding whole numbers. You've just got a decimal point in the way. That's all the difference that there is. Don't worry, Amelia. I know it's really tricky. Just give it your best go. No. Oh, that's a good question. For the last question, sorry, I'm going to interrupt. For the last question, when it was 2.1 to the nearest whole number, and the answer was 2. If you put 2.0, that's fine, because it's 2 point no decimals. Yep, so 2.0 is right, is correct. Great, that was such a good question. Well done, Lily. Well done, Ellie. Oh, I like that. Everyone's like, oh yeah, think positive. You got it, guys. I love that you're encouraging each other. That was such a good question, Katie. Right, Harry's got some answers coming in. Brilliant. These are mean ones, but I need to be able to challenge you. Okay, I'll start. If you're still finishing, don't worry. That one, have a really good think about. So, 18.286 0.286 to the nearest tenth. So here's our tenth, and here's the digit next to it that tells us what to do. 8 tells us to round up. So 18.286 to the nearest tenth is 18.3. What you were saying earlier, someone asked about whether you could actually put 0, 0 if you wanted to. You could say, right, well, those are just nothing, but you don't need to. Remember, 0 just means nothing. So you could get rid of them. It's 18.3. 0.882 to the nearest hundredth. So here's our hundredths column. And 2 tells us what to do. So 0.882 to the nearest hundredth is 0.88, because the 2 is telling us to stick or round down. And the last one, the mean one, 3.0001 to the nearest hundredth. Right, there's a lot of zeros, so I need to make sure. Got my decimal point, this is my tenth, this is my hundredth column here, and this is the one that's telling us what to do. Okay, so it's 0, so that just means stick. So to the nearest hundredth, it's just that. Yeah, it's actually 3.00, which is actually just 3. So it's a bit of a trick question. So you can either have 3.00 or you could just have the answer 3. Okay, but they're both just as correct as each other. Okay, well done for giving that a go. Like I say, rounding decimals is more of a year 5, definitely a year 6 thing, whereas rounding whole numbers yesterday is all of Key Stage 2. I am going to put a challenge question up. Definitely recommend it for you guys in year 5 and year 6, because it's like a riddle. Yeah, it's a riddle challenge to do with decimals, so give that a go. Tomorrow and Friday we're going to do some Roman numerals, and I'm really excited because I love teaching Roman numerals. I think it's like coding. It's like trying to crack a code, so hope you can join in with that. Well done today. I'm really proud of you, and I'm really proud of the questions that I got today. Always ask questions. In science and maths, ask questions if you want to find the answers. See you tomorrow. Thank you.